Welcome to the ETF's Learning Connects live session. Today, the focus is on how public employment services and the social partners, and specifically employer representatives, promote green skills in North Macedonia. What active measures can public employment services implement to develop green skills? How do the social partners engage with the public employment services and the education and training system to ensure skills are relevant for the labour market? What can we learn from the experience in North Macedonia? And what support is being provided by the European Union and the European Training Foundation? To answer these questions, let's welcome our guests today. We have Violeta Stojanovik, Advisor of Employment Service Agency of the Republic of North Macedonia. Welcome, Violeta.
Thank you.
We have Aneta, Petrovska-Rusomaroski, Macedonian Employers Organization, Vice President for Vocational Education and Training and Education. Welcome, Aneta.
Hi, nice to be here.
And we have Lisa Rustico, work-based learning expert and country liaison for North Macedonia from ETF. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and many thanks to our speakers who made themselves available for this live. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Lisa. And I'm your host today, Denise Lochran, ETF Communications Specialist. We give a warm welcome to you, our audience, our followers. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Tell us where you're watching from. Take part in the conversation. Post your questions and comments in the chat, and we will be happy to answer them. So let's get started. I'll start with you, Violeta.
One correction, please.
Yes, sorry.
Deputy head in the Department of Active Labor Market Measures and Services.
Oh, I apologize for that. Thank you. Thank you, Violeta. Well, could you set the scene for us then and tell us about the situation in North Macedonia regarding green skills development and how the Public Employment Service is supporting this?
Employment Service Agency is main implementing body of the annual operational plan of active labor market and measure and services. And since 2022, we started with the implementation of a new pilot measure, named Support to Creation of New Jobs through Green Investments. The aim of these new measures is to contribute toward the reduction of unemployment by supporting the creation of new jobs, and in that way facilitate the green transition of the private sector through introduction of green products, services, new technologies, and process in the companies. Also, furthermore, Employment Service Agency, as a part of operational plan, is providing training for skills. These trainings are warehouse trainings, and we implement training for skills demanded on the labor market. It means that the objective of these measures is two trainings to meet the need of companies, the acquire need of the companies, that lead to the improving of qualifications, skills, profiles, and also qualifications that lead to the green jobs. The target group consists of all active labor market and measures in operational plan is unemployed persons which are in our register. According to the operational plan, I want to mention that the last year there were about 2,079 persons which were involved in the trainings. As I mentioned, the trainings is various trainings for unknown for known companies, other trainings, and for all these trainings we have big interest.
Okay, thank you, Violeta. Moving now to Aneta, and also it's a good follow-on, I think, from what the information Violeta has just provided us. Aneta, why is it so important that employer representatives are involved in the development of green skills and liaise with public employment services?
So, as an introduction, the Green Deal covers various areas such as energy, biodiversity, sustainable mobility, food and agriculture, and a move towards a circular economy. And it helps ensure a just and socially fair transition. So the green skills represents a driver for change towards the green economy. Multi-level and multi-stakeholder collaboration is crucial in our opinion to ensure that local skill systems are ready to enable a green transition and deliver it in a socially just way by identifying ways to integrate gender and intersectional perspective into green skills policies. Moving towards green and gender equal economies can go hand in hand. And estimates are that the green transition could generate up to 1 million additional jobs by 2030. And it offers a unique opportunity for a gender equal future and reducing the inequalities also on national level. So in order to achieve this, we need to enhance the social dialogue with regard to green skills, because skills and policies need to be merged in order to have proper policy implementation. In addition, as it was mentioned before me, skills authorities and employment agencies are collaborating with employers, but the efficiency can always be improved. And not only on national level, but also local level, in order to draw from the knowledge of employers and also to anticipate skills needs instead of reacting once the gap is there. We have witnessed in some cases, instead of top-down approach, more bottom-up initiatives in the past years, where skills gaps are identified by individual enterprises confronted with challenges of future skills shortages. And we believe this needs to change. The environmental regulations which are driving the demand for green skills need to be aligned with skills and labor market policies which will drive the supply of skills. And the alignment of these policies requires close and continuous collaboration between the social partners, coupled with support by the European Union to various initiatives, calls and programs, and international organizations like the European Training Foundation.
Okay, thank you, Aneta. Moving on to Lisa, looking at this support that Aneta has just mentioned, can you tell us more about what is available to North Macedonia from the European Union and the ETF to improve the relevance of education and training for this green transition?
Sure. Thank you, Denise. So the EU, the European Union, has been supporting North Macedonia since 2007 with the instrument of pre-accession assistance, which is the so-called EPA funding, in its efforts to improve education and training, but not only, of course. In the recent years, there were several concurrent EPA projects for improvement of vocational education and training, VET, and all of their objectives include some elements that are relevant to sustainability. Just maybe one examples, and then if we have time, I could add more. So the sector reform or performance contract, so-called EU for Youth, aims to support the government of the country to improve the quality, relevance, and inclusiveness of national vet, as well as to support employment opportunities for young women and men. This was, something that both Violeta and Aneta touched upon, the use of the new opportunities opened up by the green transition to tackle unemployment, or to reactivate inactive, perhaps. And this is being done also through the youth guarantee. And I would really like to mention here the recommendations of the reinforced youth guarantee, where the European Union underlines the potential of green economies to create employment opportunities for young people, making sure that they fully reap the benefits of the digital age and the growth of jobs in the green economy. I will go on with my reply. Then, if we have time for a more spontaneous discussion, maybe I can add more on these. There are other projects supported by the IPA funding, for example, to improve the responsiveness of vet qualifications to labor market needs, such as this twinning project that supported indeed the implementation of the national qualifications framework, but also this project with a very long name that I always struggle to remember, increasing attractiveness, inclusiveness, and relevance of vet and adult education, that helps improve the skills match, indeed, of youth and adults in line with the changing labor market needs.
Okay,
So these are the IPA fundings. Now, in addition to the IPA funding, there will be the new growth plan that is open to all the Western Balkans, including North Macedonia, and it promises to open up additional opportunities. The ETF instead is providing, and will continue to provide to the country advice and support, for example, for the establishment of the regional vet centers, to the youth guarantee in the area of work-based learning. So we tackle the green element in a way throughout the vet areas as a mainstream element of the vet policy agenda. But then, of course, we also have specific projects on that.
Okay.
But back to you for now.
Thank you, Lisa. That's a very comprehensive answer. So we see that that many things are happening from an institutional point of view, and that there is a lot of support from that, both at the EU level and national level. So before I move on in that context to address another question to Violeta, I'll just say hello quickly to some of our guests. We have Abra Berhanu from Ethiopia. Welcome, Abra, for joining us. And thank you for the question that you've posted. I see your question is, I am working with over 300 private companies as an advisor. Companies do not have any information regarding green skills. Now, going back to the example that we're exploring today in North Macedonia, but I'm sure Violeta and I will be able to provide us with some information that would respond to Abra's question. So, Violeta, Lisa has told us about the many initiatives taking place. So, could you tell us more about the programs for green skills development implemented by the Employment Service Agency and the partners you're working for, and the partner organizations that are involved, and how you get the information out there about what is being done?
Well, as I mentioned, the programs, all programs, active labor market programs and measures, which are implemented by the Employment Service Agency, is developed by Ministry of Labor and Social Policy. It means that the Ministry of Labor and Social Policy, in the process of developing the operational plan, working together with other institution, with other relevant institution, NGO, and the social partners. In that way, we have the needs of all that relevant institution, which contribute for better designing and creation of the labor market and measures. As I mentioned before, The new pilot project, the measure support to creation of new jobs through green investments, is implemented in we are implemented with cooperation in cooperation with UNDP and Ministry of Labor and Social Policy. This support is awarded in the form of grant. It means non-refundable funds intended for financing new business investments, and it means supported this transition to the green economy. This is performing by purchasing of new equipment, machines, tool, new procedure, new energy sources, specialized software, license to use the software, and similar fixed assets. Also, equipment and materials for energy efficiency. The supported legal entities mostly belong to the enterprise with primary activity of processing industry, agricultural, forestry, water supply, and construction. I want to mention that since involving of this measure as a part of operational plan, the interest constantly increased. It means that in 2022, the number of persons, the number of companies which use this measure was 100 companies. It means that you were employ about 85 persons. About the framework, it was about 85% of playing the framework for this measure. The last year, it means in 2023, the number of companies were increased, and it means that about 240 companies were included in this measure. And this year, 2024, the number of companies which were included in this measure were 100 and over 230 companies for 540 persons. It means that these measures, which was involved in before 2 years, show that is a good measure, so which is part of our operational plan, and we will try to do our best to improve this measure, to improve the criterion this measure, and the amount of financial support to the companies.
Okay, thank you very much, Violeta. They are impressive figures that you're providing us with. Turning to Abara's question, what would you say are the essential elements in outreach to these companies to raise awareness of the programs that are available?
Yes, in Macedonia, also in a global level, the interest for this green economy is rising, and also the interest for obtaining of for getting of their skills for green economy global level. The interest for this green economy is rising, and because of that, we try to organize and to define that trainings out of this measure as a training for require skills. We have such a measure in our operational plan, and we will try to do our best for creation of that measures, and we think that we will be okay with it.
Okay, thank you, Violeta. Aneta, welcome back. We had lost you there for a few minutes, but good to see the connection is working again. So, Aneta, before I was just talking about a very interesting question we have from a participant from Ethiopia who spoke about it was the lack of information on green skills in Ethiopia. Now, I know that's a very different context from North Macedonia, but I think information flows and outreach are important factors everywhere. So, in your role working with the employer representatives, what would you say are the success factors in outreach, and where do you think improvements could be made more widely?
So, sustainability is a topic where all stakeholders and affected communities should be involved. So, my answer would be to establish learning networks where they learn from each other between schools or educational system, employers, and relevant national institutions dealing with green skills and sustainability. And they should also think about ways how to identify competence models or develop competence model to train and develop green skills for teachers, mentors, and trainers, and also try to integrate the sustainability in the national educational system. It is also useful to identify best ways to support workers going through this transition or being affected by the transition through a mix of career guidance and training. So the impact, as we've said, and as you said, on the green transition will not be the same in all regions or all countries, and that's why the value added by local governments and stakeholders also on the smallest organizational level by contributing to policies designed tailored to local needs is very high. Employers can, for instance, act as initiators of local skills coalitions that secure public buy-in for the green transition, because we are witnessing rapid changes in the world of work already, and many labor markets, such as ours, are struggling to keep up or attract foreign investments. So the best way would be to have an integrated approach underlined by social dialogue, supported but not driven by international donors and NGOs.
Very good. And this is why I think it's so important that we're also highlighting the initiatives and what's being done at the national level. Going back to an earlier question that we had about the social partners, employer representatives specifically. Okay, we heard about how you're working with the public employment services, but specifically the education and training system. Would you like to elaborate a bit more about the work you're doing?
Yes, so first of all, I would like to emphasize that we need to see more women in decision-making roles, both in policy, in industry, and also more women involved in social dialogue to have inclusive economies. Also, it is very important to have a timely and reliable labor market information in order to help all the participants to make better decisions and allow the policymakers to design more effective policies. Why? Because we need curricula that reflect the skills demand, which are driven by the green transition, but we also need to combine tailored training offers for employees in sectors mostly affected by the green transition. Also, the biggest share of adult learning happens in the workplace, so supporting and offering incentives for employers to upskill and reskill staff is in the interest of all social partners. We also believe that we should work in future in the area of verification of programs for informal acquired green skills that can also support the green transition.
And Aneta, do you have some examples, specific examples that you are working on at the moment that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, unfortunately, it's a bottom-up approach because what we are missing is more, how to say, uh, involvement on the level of sectors, which will work on first attracting uh, uh, more prospective employees in future.
Mhm.
We usually attraction and or outreach programs are more ad hoc events or there are one day events. So
Okay.
what we try to offer is we offered as a company, even Macedonia organized the challenge Connection for Skills, where we invited uh, female students from the last 2 years of their studies from the whole country and involve them in a process of developing transversal and technical skills which will be needed, green skills which will be needed in the future on national level. So we offer them training in digital skills, in technical skills, but also in skills like collaboration, teamwork, problem solving, and also creativity. So the feedback is excellent. We want to scale up this initiative on the level of the employers organization in the next period
Mhm.
because only through combining efforts we can achieve greater involvement of more women in the green jobs, and also we can motivate girls and overcome the challenges and the stereotypes about male and female occupations.
Okay, thank you very much, Aneta. Lisa, leading on from the points that Aneta raised, from an EU level, let's say, how and of course in ETF and its work, how are public institutions and social partners in North Macedonia being supported, and specifically the education and training systems to develop the skills needed?
Sure. So maybe I will try to complement Aneta's
Mhm.
answer, which was the last question,
Yes,
which
yes,
was about a bottom-up initiative. But
yes.
first of all, I should say I would disagree with Aneta because she said, unfortunately, it's a bottom-up initiative. I would say, luckily, it's a bottom-up initiative because
Yes.
we need both. And I find
Mhm,
that this is an excellent initiative, what she presented, and it's
mhm,
also by peer learning and sharing this experience. And we hope that this live discussion is an opportunity to do so. It will remain on the platform, right? And it's perhaps you'll say that so people can actually access this information even later. So I will complement this information with
yes.
the information about the top-down level, let's say.
Mhm,
So the
yes.
information about what the North Macedonian national level stakeholders, including social partner representatives, are doing. Well, they're participating in several EU policy processes and in EU policy dialogue in the area of vocational education and training.
Mhm,
First of all, I shall mention the European Strategy for Enhanced Cooperation in VET. This was launched in 2002, and it is known by, in the jargon, let's say, by as the Copenhagen process, which has become a catalyst for modernizing VET in many EU member states as well as candidate countries, and has supported work towards Europe's strategic goals and targets in VET. The last cycle of this Copenhagen process, the 2020-2025 cycle, is called the Osnabrück cycle because the declaration was signed in Osnabrück in 2020. And this declaration includes greening VET, at least under three different thematic priorities, which are very briefly including elements of sustainability and of the green transition in curricula and programs, modernizing VET infrastructure to make it sustainable and green,
mhm,
and systematic approaches and opportunities to teachers and trainers to have a continuous professional development also in these green areas. North Macedonia, as a candidate country, participates in this process And as regard the green transition for that and through that, there are just a first few developments, I must say, in the country, which maybe later I can also give you a couple of examples, or I could mention them. Nevertheless, the very same participation in the Osnabrück process, in this enhanced cooperation in that process, is a means to enhance stakeholders' awareness and hopefully their engagement towards important cross-cutting priorities such as greening. And in these, for these processes, we involve the director generals for that and the members of the advisory council for that, which are two bodies, two expert bodies, EU level, and Aneta is representing the employers in the AC advisory council for that. We published the results of the monitoring of these commitments that the countries do towards these EU goals, these EU thematic priorities in last year, at the end of last year. We also have two links to share. So the first link that you're seeing is the detailed evidence in policy development fishes that tell you what happened in VET in general, including also mention of greening skills in 2021 and 2022. But we also have a much briefer and perhaps more accessible document, which is called the country brief that summarizes all these policy developments. As a ETF, as I said, we also support the country in the implementation of the youth guarantee, and I already flagged its relevance for the green transition. And I should say that in this is an endeavor of excellence for North Macedonia because it was the first Western Balkan country to introduce the guarantee outside of the EU in 2018, and it continues to put effort in its implementation, also with the support of donors and advice of the ETF, but it leads as an example the other countries of the Western Balkans. Maybe last thing I would like to mention about greening skills and social partners is the tripartite exchange seminars that is organized by the Eurofound, the sister agency of the ETF. It's the EU agency for the improvement of living and working conditions. It's a seminar where social partners we learn about and discuss about their role for achieving a green and fair transition. And for the first time, also social partners from the Western Balkans were invited. And this is where the ETF comes in.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. My colleagues have posted links in the chats to the reports that Lisa mentioned. So I'm hearing about many things that are happening in North Macedonia. There's a lot of things happening at national level. Violeta has given us impressive figures. There's support coming from international organizations as well as the European Union. Aneta has described to us the activities that the employer representatives are undertaking to ensure inclusive skills for an inclusive economy with regards to the green transition. Violeta, in this context, where would you say that improvements would be needed to continue this, let's say, all these good efforts, excellent efforts that are being made?
You mean improvements for our measures, or?
Yes, I would say that to reinforce the development of green skills at a system level. I mean, we've heard of many examples taking place national level, at a bottom-up level, and there's lots of support from the EU and international organizations. So to reinforce green skills development at a system level, are there any particular areas where you think would need to be targeted?
Yes. Our dialogue is performing on the three-party social dialogue in our country. It means that this three-part social dialogue is performing through one three-party body named Economic and Social Council. This Economic and Social Council can give a recommendation of all social and economic area including the employment policy, strategy, employment skills, and so on and so on. It means that in the process of determining the plans, strategies, and other documents, this three-party body can give suggestion, recommendation, and so on, with one aim, all of these relevant partners to be including in defining and developing of all documents which are in the social market and in the labor market areas, including the employment and our intention for reducing of the unemployment. It means in that way, the social partners have the opportunity to express their needs and concerns in the very planning phase and reach a consensus on the most burning issue. And that is very important for us because all relevant partners, including our institution, including NGOs, including our partners, which are the part of operational plan, can give very good suggestion for improving of our active labor market measures, which are the part of operational plan. Also, the suggestions of the companies is very welcoming for us, and we very often cooperate with companies, with enterprises, and all of this give suggestions. This training, these measures toward the green economy, that is very important for us, and I think that that suggestions for the company will be more and more included in creation of our operational plan.
Okay, thank you very much, Violeta. So would you say that one improvement would be the greater the social dialogue, the more social dialogue that there is, then the greater the readiness for the green transition, if I've understood you? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
The social dialogue is constantly between agency, employment service agency in other institution, but as I mentioned, in Macedonia we have a tripartite body,
Yes.
which connect all relevant institutions. As I mentioned, that is institution, employers organization, and trade unions.
Yes.
All this tripartite dialogue is included in one tripartite body.
Okay, thank you, Violeta. Aneta, continuing on this point of areas for improvement, would you say then that enhanced social dialogue, and particularly speaking in your role from the employers' representatives, it eventually then it leads to greater competitiveness, let's say, of the economy in North Macedonia? And how soon would you expect this to happen?
Yes, I agree that enhancing the social dialogue for green skills would lead to better competitiveness for our businesses and our economy, but it is only under the condition that regular skills forecasts on new skills demanded are translated into policies and implemented then in a more efficient manner. We are talking about the importance of social dialogue, but it also needs to be supported by increased investment and funding for green transition education, especially incorporating sustainability concepts and environmental protection into curricula. We did as a company also through the project 2020. I think we were the first pilot program who introduced a subject environmental protection and work safety into the curriculum. But as I said, it's important to integrate sustainability into the education and into how we do business. On a European level, there is now the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, who is dealing with businesses who need to report according to the previous set criteria. And we need a qualified workforce equipped with green skills and competencies in a timely manner in order that our competitiveness increased. If we are lagging behind, or if we are too slow in anticipating the future needs, we will lose the momentum and lose investments and time. And time is of utmost importance in the green transition.
Okay, thank you, Aneta. Lisa, would you like to add something on this point about areas of improvement, also from your wider experience?
Yes, maybe following up on what Aneta was saying, the importance about labor market intelligence. I mean, I very much agree on that. And maybe I could share this information on the planning of another sister agency, SEDEFOP, which works on vocational education and training in the member states. They carry out a lot of work on skills forecasting, and we have this information that when it comes to the geographical coverage of their skills forecasting exercise, they will include also North Macedonia in the next round, and the first results seem to be available in autumn 2024. So that's very good news. But also the country is covered in a part of in a number of EU plus a systematic data collection exercise, which can provide evidence in the area of skills gap and skills need in our education and training. I should mention the European Skills and Jobs Survey, which the second round of which was carried out in 2022, 2023. It's an exercise, it's a survey that started, that SEDEFOP started, but in the second round, as I said, also non-EU member states participated, and North Macedonia was part of the pool of countries, and we have a lot of information about it. The focus of the survey was digital skills and digitalization in general for adults. So not really green, but as we know, we talk about the green transition. So we might find a lot of linkages there. And this wealth of information contributes to put North Macedonia in the picture of the EU family and indicate areas of strength and potential further improvement. And coming to this, and to respond more precisely to your question, I think that the country has worked a lot in the past years in the field of VET to prepare policies, concepts, frameworks, training of teachers. I mean, it really stands out in this Osnabrück monitoring when it comes to supporting teachers and trainers. For inclusiveness in making education more inclusive. So there's a lot going on. As all stakeholders know very well, depending adoption of crucial laws still hampers the implementation of reforms and basically disables their potential impact. 2024 is a year of elections for North Macedonia. This risks putting processes that were ongoing for some time still on stall, but the elections are coming up very soon, so that we hope that after that, all the preparatory work that has been done in the past will kick off and will really bring the fruits that are hanging. Yeah, maybe I will stop. I will stop there.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Lisa, and also all this information and links to SEDEFOP, which Lisa mentioned. If it's not on our chat, they are available on our website, on the ETF website, and you have the link in the chat. So, moving on, then we're coming to the end, and but I would like to give a last word to each of you. Maybe if you would like to share with us your joys of working in this field of developing skills for the green transition, and what you think are the biggest challenges for you personally, if you would like to share those with us. Violeta, over to you.
I want to mention again that, as you mentioned before, for social dialogue should be the base for all our effort, especially to the improving of measures and other activities toward green economy and transition to the green economy. As you know, Employment Service Agency constantly, permanently on annual level, performing skills need analysis. And in that skills need analysis, we got the short-term indicators for companies' requirement about qualifications, about skills, about companies' needs. We hope that with that, if many of the companies we call for that analysis include in our analysis, we will have very good indicators which will lead toward defining of real measures which will head to which will support the companies for better transition to the green economy. Because with the public announcement, with the public call for that measure this year, we saw that really the company have very big interest for that area.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Violeta. Aneta, would you like also to share with us, I mean, what for you are the areas, let's say, that most inspire you about developing skills for the green transition, and what do you find most challenging?
Yes, so the contribution of the green transition to our society is something that we cannot explain in a how to say as a summary, but I think that it will create more sustainable and more equitable society. The challenges that from employers' perspective we will have is to attract talent, to have more diverse workforce, and also last but not least, to secure funding for education and for training of teachers and trainers for the new skills that will be necessary in future. So for this, we need combined efforts by all social partners, and also combined efforts on the level of industries and employers, organization, business chambers, in order to increase the synergies and efficiency of the process, to have more systematic approach, and to avoid waste of resources, because it is also one of the principles of the green transition.
Okay, thank you very much, Aneta. And mentioning the social partners, we have a post in our chat from Ubavka Izyanovska, excuse me for the pronunciation, who says, "Good afternoon to all. I've been following the discussion from the very beginning, but unfortunately I've had some technical problems and could not fully participate." Ubavka is a representative of the trade union for science, education and culture. Very positive atmosphere and useful information is being shared. Thank you very much, Ubavka, and thank you for being with us in spite of those difficulties. Over to you now, Lisa. Also, same question. Some thoughts. Which areas interest you the most in this green transition, the development of green skills? Also, from your experience, even if it's short, I know you've just recently took up your position as country liaison in North Macedonia, but please share with us your thoughts.
Denise. I started last year in July, in fact, so it's not even 1 year, but in this year I've seen the efforts of all the stakeholders involved. I could appreciate it. My plea to them would be to continue working along this way. way, because even if, as I said, greening that was not among the commitments that North Macedonia included in its national implementation plans, at least not explicitly, maybe it was more transversal, there are developments. So things are moving. My invite is also to further enhance the cooperation. I'm very pleased, if I understand the participant that wrote from the trade union, it's from North Macedonia. I mean, I think she didn't specify it, but if so, I mean, it's very great to hear from the unions, because this is something that was missing, at least in the few months that I've been working with the country. So touching upon what both Violeta and Aneta said, yes, the importance of social dialogue, but all the actors need to be there. So also a call to the unions to be part, and also to work with us, maybe scale up bottom-up initiatives, because there are many, and also to do so, maybe I should conclude by saying that the EU is there to support the country in its accession process, and for sure greening the economy and the society in a just manner, not just a fair manner. I'm just referring to the just transition. To tap on Aneta's point, is of utmost importance for the EU and its neighboring countries.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. Just before we conclude, Albera from Ethiopia had posted a comment, and I think it's an analogy perhaps for many countries. In Ethiopia, there's a commercial tree called eucalyptus tree planted all over the country. This tree is toxic and killing the fertile lands. Rivers are drying up. The tree looks green, but green toxic. The lives of many people's job security depends on this tree. Yes, this is an example which I think in many countries there are many examples like this. So I just want to extend our best thoughts to Abera for sharing this with us and for participating in this conversation, as with all our guests. And I particularly want to thank you, our guests here in this discussion, for joining this live discussion. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm grateful for all your input.
Thank you, Denise, and thanks to Aneta and Violeta.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
invitation, and all the best, all of you.
Best regards to the audience.
Yes, thank you.
Best regards.